Hello students, welcome to Legacy IAS Academy. Today we are going to discuss about another controversy that have again came up is regarding the Krishna Janmabhoomi and Shahi Idgah Mosque. This is situated in the Mathura. So in this context we are going to discuss about the compromise that was reached between the Hindu temple representatives as well as the mosque representatives in year 1968, and why this controversy has again raised its head, and what are the different court proceedings and ruling that is going on in this particular matter. So first of all, to give you a brief background, this issue has raised its head because a district judge in the Mathura has allowed the reopening of a lawsuit. That lawsuit is basically with regard to the ownership of the plot of land on which today this particular mosque, Idgah Mosque, stands. The mosque was built by the Aurangzeb in the 17th century. Now earlier on the same day we tried to understand in the Varanasi also the court ordered videography survey of Janmabhoomi Mosque. It has found a debris of old temples and Hindu motifs and pillars. So both these instances or both these we can say issues have arisen at the same time, and we'll have to look how the whole thing plays out. If we try to understand about this particular Mathura dispute, basically it involves about the who is the actual owner of this 13.37 acres of land. The petitioners of the lawsuit claims that this particular land belongs to the deity Lord Sri Krishna Virajman, and they are representing the deity himself. And currently, since the mosque is built on this particular land, it should either be converted into temple or this land should be given to the temple authorities. Now, what is the court's ruling in this context? So here we have a district and session judge of Mathura. They have allowed an appeal by the Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi Trust. That is the organization that is representing this lawsuit, and other parties are also there regarding seeking the ownership of land on which the mosque is built. However, this is a kind of revision petition because earlier also the similar petition was filed, but it was dismissed by a lower court, and that is why the revision petition has been filed. The revision petition is basically an instrument that is given in the Indian judicial system. That means if any judgment, if any petitioner is not happy with the judgment of lower court, he has a right to appeal to the higher court to correct the wrong judgment if he thinks has been given by the lower court. So while this lawsuit again has reopened, the court will have to examine the revenue records from the earlier years to ensure that the petitioner's claim regarding the ownership of land is correct or not. And second, they also have to look at the validity of 1968 compromise agreement that already has been reached between the temple trust and the mosque trust. So let us try to look at the background of the petitions. So as of now, almost 12 different petitions regarding the same temple and mosque issue is being discussed in different courts of the state. One of the most important current that runs in all these petitions is that all the petition clearly wants removal of the mosque from this 13.77 acre land of complex, which the mosque share with the Katra Kesav temple as of now. Another petition that is filed is regarding a video survey have to be conducted. Similarly, that has been done on the line of Janmabhoomi Mosque by the Varanasi court recently. The third petition is filed where the petitioner has asked the court to grant them the right to offer prayers on the premises of this Shahi Idgah Mosque. And the fourth petition is filed in Allahabad High Court, which is being heard in the Allahabad High Court, is regarding that mosque which is currently under a Shahi Idgah Trust should be transferred and acquired by the government. So the common theme is removal of mosque from the temple complex, while different other demands are also has also been demanded by the petitioners in different courts. Now, one other separate matter is there with regard to which High Court on the May 12th has directed the civil judge of Senior Division of Mathura to decide within the time period of 4 months the cases that is going on regarding the Krishna Janmabhoomi. Now, it is in this case actually the petitioner has filed a petition representing Lord Krishna or Krishna Lala Virajman, and is saying that he is next of kin. That is why he has tried to file a petition in the name of Lord Krishna. Now let us look at the ownership of the land and how the land has changed hand. So first of all, it is believed that somewhere in the year 1670, the current Idgah Mosque was built by Aurangzeb on the site of what used to be an earlier temple. And this temple and later on mosque developed on a land that is referred as Najul land. Najul land is basically a non-agricultural land that was first of all it was under the control of Mughals, and then it went into the control of the British Empire. Further, somewhere in the 1618, if you look at the temple that was built earlier, it is believed that in the 1618 it was the Raja Veer Singh Bundela of Orchha who constructed the temple here, which was demolished by Aurangzeb and converted into mosque. Now, after this conversion of the temple into mosque, the build-up of this Shahi Idgah mosque, next development happened somewhere in the year 1815 when the Raja Pattimal of Banaras bought this 13.77 acre land from the in the auction from the East India Company. Once he took the ownership of the land, later after a few years later, he sold the land to Jugal Kishore Birla for mere rupees 13,400. Then further development happened in year 1951 when the same 13.7 acre land were placed in the trust, and the condition with which it was placed in trust, the trust will never, this property will never be sold or placed against any kind of loan or something like that. And to maintain this property, a trust called as Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi trust was set up by Jugal Kishore Birla. The next development happened just 5 years later, somewhere in the year 1956, when the Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi Seva Sangh was set up to manage the affairs of the temple that was built on a part of land of this, or the part of this 13.77 acres of land. And later in 1977, the same trust Seva Sangh changed the name Sri Krishna Janmabhoomi Seva Sangh to Seva Sansthan, and now it has become a registered society under the Societies Registration Act of India. Now, obviously, let us look at the most important petition with regard to which High Court has given the direction to District Judge to dispose it within the 4 months. So, what is the grounds of petition? So, the most interesting thing is the grounds of petition, because as we discussed before, the petitioner says that he is next of kin of Lord Krishna, and that is why he is filing this petition in the name of Lord Krishna. And he says that the current place where the mosque has been built up by Aurangzeb is actually below that mosque lies beneath the construction the construction that is raised by Committee of Management Trust Masjid Idgah. Below that, if we try to excavate, what we will find? We will find the actual prison, the actual Karagar in which Lord Krishna was born. Now, according to the mythology or the literatures, we know that Lord Krishna was born to Father Vasudev and Mother in a prison, because the both were parents of Lord Krishna were imprisoned by Kans because he believed that Lord Krishna will kill him. He is his nemesis. So, the petitioner believed that if we excavate the mosque, below the mosque, we will find this actual prison. The similar petition was filed earlier also in September 2020, but the then judge dismissed this petition on the grounds of maintainability. And the petitioner, who is called Agnihotri, the judge has clearly said that Agnihotri and the other petitioner did not have locus standi in this particular case, as they could not be next of kin of the deity when the temple management authority already exists. Not only that, as we discussed before, the judge also said that since the temple and the Shahi Idgah have already entered into a compromise agreement, and this compromise agreement has been subsequently formalized through a decree of court, this destruction or demolition of the masjid or transfer of the masjid property to temple property cannot take place. So let us try to understand about the main point, that is, what is the 1968 compromise? Now, if you look at the most important 1968 compromise, there were a lot of points in this compromise, but we'll look at the important points. So, first important point was that both the temple trust and masjid trust agreed that the boundaries we look at the temple and mosque, the boundaries were redrawn, so both places of worship could operate simultaneously. So, it is in the same complex, but we have both mosque as well as temple. Also, both parties agreed that mosque would have no window, door or open drain that is facing toward the temple. And actually, the earlier time there was a drain, but temple authority at their own cost transferred or changed the direction of the drain away from the temple. And third point, which is most important, is that in any case any party does not adhere to the conditions that is prescribed in this compromise, both parties will have right to have it divorce enforced through the court of law or any other ways that is possible. So basically the main, we can say, theme of this 1968 compromise is that both temple and mosque agreed that within the same complex both will run simultaneously with certain changes here and there that is required. However, the petitioner have challenged this compromise on the ground that he says the deity, that Lord Krishna himself, he was never the part of this compromise, he was never the part of proceedings that led to this compromise, and that is why his rights cannot be extinguished by the agreement, and that is why it is his fundamental rights, it is his rights over the land or rights over property that is being extinguished by this compromise. That is why he has asked the court to take a fresh view on this matter. So that is all about this whole issue and controversy. We'll have to see and look how all these things played out, or what are the judgments that is given by the courts in this particular matter. Thank you very much.